Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com back with another Pittsburgh Steelers recap. Unfortunately, the final recap of the 2020-2021 Pittsburgh Steelers season as they fall in upset fashion to the Cleveland Browns 48-37. I'll keep this video relatively short because I imagine there is not a big appetite for in-depth analysis on the game right now. It is late, of course, on my end, and unfortunately, there's a lot of time to talk about this game come the off season, which starts today for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's recap what the heck happened on Sunday night. It's almost eerie how close and how similar Sunday's game was to the 2017 Jacksonville loss, the last game the Pittsburgh Steelers played in the postseason. From digging yourself into a giant hole early in this game, Pittsburgh getting down 28 nothing because of turnovers, from a lack of a run defense, from the garbage touchdown at the very end of the game, which happened in both contest, to a lack of turnovers defensively, a lack of pressure defensively. Really, you just go almost line by line. It feels the exact same. And I think in this game, it hurts more defensively how poor this defense was. Not that I want to start here, but that's kind of where I'm taking myself because the 2017 defense was just a bad defense overall, and the Steelers defense on paper is a whole lot better. But unfortunately, the results and the outcome are very similar. Now, granted, obviously the Steelers turnovers in the first half did not do the defense any favors at all. But I promise you, Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, Minka and company will say this defense, they had to make some stops. And if you look at three of the four first half turnovers that resulted in points for the Browns, I think those drives all went at least 50 yards. So certainly there was a lot of field and space for the Steelers defense to make a stop, and they didn't. But I do want to start with the start of the game, and this has been the big issue for Pittsburgh for basically the last half of the season, even a little bit further than that. Just horrible starts in basically every single game, and you can't get much worse than Sunday's start because it never felt like the Steelers really showed up until late in the first half and into the second half. With the first play of the game, Pouncey snap sailing over Ben's head. No one's able to fall on the football. The Browns score. They go up 7-0. They never relinquish that lead. That's Pouncey either just being too amped up or trying to focus on his block or whatever the case is. But you have that, more Ben interceptions. Again, four first half turnovers. Ben finishes the day with four interceptions total. First Steelers quarterback to ever throw four picks in a playoff game. Ben set a lot of records Sunday night. Not all of them good, and some of them just the result of the score. But you dig yourself a 28 nothing hole, although they kind of did cut into that deficit and make it a game in the second half. This has been a team that has been the worst in football in starting games and just not scoring early and really having to play catch up. And even in a game like Sunday where the run game showed some signs of life, it wasn't horrible. It was just below average, which for Pittsburgh is good. You really couldn't lean on it because by the time the second half rolled around, you were just in throw first, second, third mode, and that's why Ben set a playoff record for postseason attempts in a game with 66. So it really lost your balance almost immediately. Just a lot of turnovers. Ben was not sharp early. Pouncey, obviously, that snap was just a killer, and he never really fully recovered from that. Defensively, I touched on it. The run defense, not good enough. The Browns ran for whatever the final number was, around a buck 50. Chubb and Hunt were very effective early, getting in the second level, yards after contact, dragging defenders into the end zone. Hunt on the touchdown he had just, took Spillane into the end zone and a couple other Steelers as well. No pressure, zero sacks on Baker. They sacked him 8 times in two regular season games. No turnovers. Basically, you look at all but the Buffalo game, all the Steelers' losses this year, besides the Bills game, the Steelers' defense did not force one turnover, and they lost a turnover battle. Believe in all of those games, even including the Bills, where they forced two turnovers, and so that's an obvious number. Not that you expected the Steelers to win the turnover battle when they give it away 5 times, but not creating one for themselves certainly makes it hard to climb back into that game. Usually, when you're down that big, you got to hit big chunk plays and create a defensive splash. Neither of those really happened. And so, although Pittsburgh did sort of climb into this one, not having the big turnover that gives your offense the ball back immediately and for a couple quick scores, certainly did not do yourself any favors in trying to climb back into this game. And I think overall, and there'll be a lot of time to talk about it, and I'm sure you guys have some let's say, strong feelings in the comments. A lot of this falls on Mike Tomlin. His decision making in this game was poor, if I'm being kind, from starting Matt Filer over Kevin Dotson, which I think was the wrong move. Ultimately, low on the list of issues, but I think one of them, to just in-game decision making, some weird decisions to go for two or not go for two. The decision to punt on 4th and 1, the start of the fourth quarter, I think was the wrong one. Granted, easy to say with the benefit of hindsight, but I think many people, myself included, were more inclined to go for it. It's a, I think, 12-point game in that situation. You have momentum. Ben's picking apart the Browns defense, and so Tomlin punts. The defense had been getting stops. He's right about that. That's what Tomlin said in his explanation for why he punted. The defense was playing better. But I think in that situation, you really just got to keep going as an offense and trust Ben, trust your quarterback to keep making plays like he had been throughout the third quarter. And so Tomlin, the overall results, you'll have an article on this for the morning on Steelers Depot. He played 10 years since the last Steelers Super Bowl appearance, the loss to Green Bay, and you've only made the playoffs 6 times with 3 playoff wins, one AFC title appearance, and no returns to the Super Bowl with a Hall of Fame, first ballot quarterback. And that is deeply disappointing because overall, this roster in 2020 was as good as it was going to get probably for some time because of the cap issues. As this team gets older, without any super high draft picks, with many free agents from Juju to Dupree to Hilton to Villanueva. You guys probably know the list by now. It's hard to see this roster being much better in the next couple of years, just given all those circumstances I laid out. And so this was kind of your chance. And I wrote about this actually right before the season started. This was your chance to make the run, and the pieces were there from Ben to a defense that was aggressive, ball hawking, got a lot of pressure, to some really talented receivers. And instead, you get one and done and bounced by a Browns team that was just trying to make it through the week with a patchwork offensive line, replacement coaches, missing some of their best defensive players. Really disappointing. Cam Hayward, where was Cam Hayward tonight? One tackle against their third string left guard, Michael Dunn. Really surprising there. So just really disappointing overall. I'm sure there's a lot of anger, frustration, fire everybody comments coming in the comments. Let it out. I'm sure someone will call me a hack, so feel free to do that as well. But we'll be back on the Monday live stream to go over it. Fortunately, a lot of time here to discuss what's going to happen in the offseason, but really just disappointment is the word going back to my mind right now. Let me know what the word is coming in your head right now. Let me know. Also, I had this question on Twitter. What is the worst playoff loss of the last decade? Was it 2011 to Tebow? Was it 2017 to Bortles? Or was it Sunday night to Mayfield and the Browns? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys, as always, for listening. A really fun season. Sorry it had to end this way, but we have a lot more coverage and Steelers content coming your way. Starting with the draft, getting ready for draft season. It's here early, unfortunately. So, as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.